Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. A little bit of a shorter one this one because, to be honest with you, there's not much more I can say. That I haven't already said, that hasn't already been said, without going over the same old tropes again and again. It's been a couple of days now since the Southampton game, the 2-2 draw. I mean, what can you do? I'm not going to go into too much detail of it again. We've all seen it now. If you're an Arsenal supporter or a football fan, you know all about what happened, how it happened. It's just one of those. Just words fail me. You can tell already. It's what I do, and I'm already lost for words, and I've only just started the video. Try and look back at it again, as I always try and do. Is try and let a little bit of space get between the game, the result, and me doing my video, because I want to try and really get my head around what happened, or try and come at it from a different angle. But there just don't seem to be any angles left to come at this from now. There's a malaise at the club. There's something going on. Let's get straight in with the manager. There's talk now about the Wolves manager coming in, Nuno Espirito Santo. It's no surprise that his agent is also the agent Jorge Mendes. There's been a lot of work with this summer for the first time. The super agent gets involved. Suddenly now his boy's been linked with us at the time when our manager is really struggling. Now, I'm not normally a Saka manager type of guy. The problem is these performances have started happening at the end of last season. When we were going for the Europa League, I personally was thinking, okay, well, the league form is dropping off because they're trying to focus on the Europa League. That was a battering against Chelsea as well, and that it didn't turn it around. We kept saying that 2 or 3 windows, and this will be Unai's team. This window was Unai's window, if you like. The players that were brought in, do we know if he was the person that brought those in, and was it just down to Sinelli and Edu, whatever? But these are the guys that have been brought in for him. These aren't Arsene Wenger's signings, these aren't Gazidis' signings, these are signings made while he's been manager of the club, with the hierarchy as the way it is. And he's not getting a tune out of them. And I just think that maybe for him, the job is too big. It's not the right job for him. I think he was brilliant at Seville. I think he struggled at PSG, but I thought when we signed him, it was because interfering owners and stuff at PSG, and you had Neymar and blah blah blah. But I just think that there are some managers, it's going to sound disrespectful now to David Moyes and Everton, but those two are a perfect match. David Moyes went to Man United and it didn't work. It didn't feel right. But then he found another level at West Ham, and he did a job there. Maybe Unai Emery isn't elite level manager. He's the next level down. That's again, I don't want to sound disrespectful or whatever, but Arsenal need to be getting right back up there. While we're talking about the manager, I just want to mention the whole Pochettino thing. I've had a lot of Spurs fans talking to me about, would you take Poch, and he overachieved at Spurs. Listen, he overachieved at Spurs, right? He overachieved at a time when everybody else was in transition. United, Arsenal, Chelsea flip-flop like they do. So that they came third the year that Leicester won a title, and they were battling for that title for a lot longer than Arsenal did. And Arsenal finished second, 10 points behind Leicester, and Spurs finished in third. He had a squad. He had their best ever squad there, Pochettino at Spurs. Don't tell me he didn't spend money, because he did. I mean, I know they got a lot of money coming in as well, but they still went out and spent Aurier and Ndombele, the fella from this season, and others. That's Davinson Sanchez. He spent money while he was there as well. And if he was sacked at Spurs, not being able to take them any further, You got to the Champions League final last year, fair enough. Again, I will say it, this is not Arsenal Spurs bias. They were lucky in 2 of the games against City and against Ajax. It was that sort of a Champions League season last season, because Liverpool were lucky against Barcelona as well. But if he's not good enough for a team in or around and even below us, it was when Spurs sacked him, Pochettino, they were below us and we were having a rubbish time. Remember, we are having a rubbish and terrible period. If he's not good enough for them, why would he be good enough for us? It might be different at Arsenal. He's got more choice. He's got a bigger squad. And listen, if Arsenal go for him, I'll get behind him and support the team, because I support the team, right? I still don't think Unai Emery is the right man for the job, but if he's manager against Eintracht Frankfurt, if he's manager against Norwich at the weekend, I'll be behind him and hoping he gets a win. No Arsenal fan wants Arsenal to lose, even if it means getting rid of Unai Emery and starting again. No one wants Arsenal to lose unless you're Piers Morgan. So we all get behind the manager during the game. That's fine, not a problem with that. We can criticise him afterwards, which is what we do now. That's how we do it. That's why I take my time after each result, because I don't want it to sound knee-jerky and reactionary to the point of again, mentioned again, Arsenal fan TV lot. Don't want to come across like that. That's not what I do. So who is there? Allegri has been mentioned. Ljungberg hasn't got the coaching badges. He's been mentioned. Arteta hasn't had the role, but he has worked under Pep. He's been mentioned. You know, it's going to sound like a weird one, and this is not what Arsenal do, and this is not my preferred choice, but what I would do if I was the Arsenal board, it's quite clear that he's not up to the task. I would spend the next 6 months after, once we get into December, tracking down the man that you want, identify the person that you think is really going to take the club on to the next level. And what I would do is relieve Unai Emery of his position, and I would bring in, and it's just ridiculous, and I hate myself for saying this, but I think this is the only way you can do it, is bringing back Rafa Benitez. I can't believe I've said it, but bring him in. Stopgap. It worked for Chelsea. And I think he would take that. I think he would take it on. I think he's got the ability to coach bigger players. He's done it, like I say, at Chelsea. He's done Liverpool. He's managed Liverpool. He went into Milan. He's been at Real Madrid. He knows how big clubs work. He knows big club mentalities, and he knows how he would get us into the top 4. I genuinely think he would get us into the top 4. I don't know whose expense, but I think we would get there. So that's how I. And then when you've got him in place and he knows he's only ever going to get a short-term contract, there's no chance of him getting an extension at the end of it if he gets it into the top 4. It's just manage our club while we go out and find the next manager that we know is going to take us to where we need to be. And that's what I would do. And say thank you, and it started off really well last season. This is not the right position for you, but cheers anyway. So that's where I would go with that. That's the management chat. Go over the game a little bit if you like, and this is where Unai let himself down. Right, we're playing at home. Southampton have been not at the Emirates or at Highbury, but they've been a bit of a bogey team against us. And just before the game started, I sent a tweet out saying, I've got a feeling we're going to lose this, and Danny Ings has scored twice. Literally as I hit send, Danny Ings scored the first goal. He's always one of those players who's always going to give us trouble for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's like he enjoys playing against us as well, and we just don't know how to handle him, right? But the main problem is our players don't switch on in the game, and they're not always alert and alive. Listen, right, it's fine for Chambers to give away the free kick. It's fine for him to even be talking to the referee about it and saying, what's going on, blah, 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 whatever, right? That happens. It's natural. Sometimes other players wouldn't do it and would wait for the ball to go completely dead. Someone else should have been alert to the fact they were taking that one and given him a shout or taken control of the position, taking control of the situation. They didn't. But where we really went wrong before that even happened, before a ball was even kicked, the starting lineup, again, I tweeted at the beginning, I'm quite happy with that lineup. But he set it up too defensively. You're at home, you're playing two central midfielders, probably both of them you would say were central defensive midfielders. The three at the back with two wing backs is not really working. For me, against Norwich, and that's away, and actually that formation will probably work better away from home, but go back to 4-4-2. Leno in goal. I would have Bellerin at right back. I would stick Chambers and Holding at centre halves because I've had enough of Socrates, and I think David Luiz, who's not really doing much wrong, but he's the one that's getting singled out. I think maybe we need to start bringing having a young English core again, which is what Arsene Wenger tried to do towards, when we had Jack Wilshere, we had British, not English, we had Jack Wilshere, Aaron Ramsey, Theo Walcott, Cole Jenkinson, it's all those sort of players. But, we can go back to that with, so you've got Bellerin, who's Spanish, obviously, but you've got Holding, Chambers and Tierney across that back three. I think those four would make a great defensive unit if they had some decent coaching. I would play four across the middle. I think it's the left wing is where you're going to lose a player. I would put Pepe at right wing. Personally, because he's one of my favourite players and one of the most gifted on the ball. I've said many, many times, I don't worry about him tackling back and making thundering challenges of that. I'd have Ozil in the middle. I'd have Guendouzi or Torreira as a holding midfielder. But as a pair, so it would sit back and go forward. That's why I'd probably have Guendouzi just ahead of Torreira because, he can move forward as well. He's a bit better going forward than Torreira is, but Torreira is a more solid defensive midfielder. But you don't always need that. And against Norwich, that's why I would have Guendouzi. Probably put Saka or Emil Smith-Rowe on the left wing, and then you'd have Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. I'd have Lacazette just a little bit behind with Aubameyang playing off him, but still as a 4-4-2. That's how I would set up. Because the defensive, the 3-5-2 thing just isn't working. Stop this nonsense about kicking out the ball from the back. If you can, fine. At the moment, every club knows what we're going to do, so let's mix it up. Let's change it. Let's just go back to, do you know what? If you've got Lacazette there, let's pump it up long. He can hold it off. He's a big, bruising, proper centre forward who can, if he takes it, like Alan Smith used to do, take it, stick it, and then Aubameyang running off him, brilliant. He's got the pace, bang. Against Norwich, that's how they're gonna play. They're not expecting us to play in an old-fashioned English style way. Let's do it. Let's mix it up. Let's try changing that. Against Southampton, we made them look so much better than they actually were because we're so nervous all the time now because they don't know what they're doing. They're not coached properly, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's something there, the mental block, something. And if we do that against Norwich, they could, at home, with a crowd cheering them on and with our fragility, then it could get worse. We could well lose the game. I hope we don't. But it could happen. And there's something, going back to the Southampton game, a last minute equaliser, Lacazette doesn't celebrate it. Is that because it's like, we shouldn't be celebrating a draw against Southampton? No, we shouldn't. But you should still be celebrating a goal. Or is it because he's thinking to himself, brilliant, I've just saved the manager's job. A manager I'm not really happy with. That's how it felt to me. It felt like he's gone, damn it, I didn't want to do that. But I'm not sure that it would change instantly if Unai was gone, but there's just something wrong at the club at the moment, and I think the players have gone. I do think he's lost the players, but I also wonder how much of it is the atmosphere from the fans as well. They're feeling it, the whole Xhaka thing. Aubameyang coming out shortly after that and saying he likes who he wants to like on social media, and it's weird, isn't it? There's something going on. There's something going on behind the closed doors at that club. And I tell you what, as well, at the end of that game against Southampton, the empty seats spoke more than the 2 drop points, and that will be hurting. That will be what's hurting our owners, and especially the fact that it was the West Stand, so that when the cameras panned across, that's the stand that you see all the time, and they're the ones with the empty seats. That's the one that's being beamed around the world, and that's what people will be seeing. And that will hurt, and that's what's going to hurt against Eintracht Frankfurt on Thursday. No away fans; they've been banned. The club has decided not to sell the tickets to Red Club members because of the trouble that had against Cologne last season. The game that I was at, I think it was the last game I went to, was the Cologne match, I think. So yes, you've got none of that. It's going to be cold and wet. Season ticket holders probably won't get that many people there because they want to use their cup matches for the FA Cup. So it's going to be a really weird, really quiet atmosphere, I think, at the Emirates on Thursday. And if we go a goal down, it's just going to be poisonous. I think he's going to play a lot of the youngsters so that you can use that as a reason for any kind of thing that would go wrong this week, any kind of bad performance. But, again, I don't want that to happen. I want us to win every game we play. That's obviously never going to happen. But I'm not looking for us to lose. But it's just mustering the energy to just see beyond anything other than a draw and a loss at the moment, and that's where we've gone. And we're not even in December yet. And Southampton at home is a must-win game. Norwich away for Arsenal is a must-win game. I mean, just get your head around that. Even in the year when George Graham was sacked, towards the end, we were genuinely flirting with relegation at one point. We were 16th, 17th in the league. George went out and bought Glenn Helder, John Hartson and Chris Kiwami in a flurry of activity because he knew that something had to change. He had to get some new blood into the club because it had to be perked up. As it was, we finished mid-table and fine. Even then, the atmosphere around the club wasn't as bad as it is now. Genuinely. And even then they weren't. The must-win games were not massively must-win, if you know what I mean. It still felt like, well, we're Arsenal, we will win the games that will keep us in the league. It's not how we should be, but that's how it felt. And we went on a European Cup Winners' Cup run to the final, and that's when Naeem scored from the halfway line. But I don't know. Like I say, this has been coming since the end of last season. The same as, if you like, we're sort of following Man United's lead at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with us as two clubs. And like I say, it's just a general apathy. It's hard being an Arsenal fan at the moment, and that's a ridiculous thing to say because there are, you've got Newcastle fans, Villa fans, all those clubs that would love to have the sort of success that we've had over the last even 10 years, 5 years, FA Cups, cup runs, and yet here I am moaning and groaning about it because we're outside the top 4. That's where we are as a club now anyway. Get used to it, enjoy it perhaps, maybe lower our expectations as Arsenal fans. I'm going to try it. I had loads more to say, but I'm going to reel it in. It's been too long since it happened. We've got the game tomorrow. We've got the Norwich game at the weekend. Stick this at 20 minutes because, I don't want it to go on for too long. And like I say, there wasn't much more that could be said. This is just my way of getting my post-Southampton Unai Emery thoughts out. So I hope you're enjoying the videos. Please click like, subscribe and share. and I will see you on the weekend after Eintracht Frankfurt and Norwich. Cheers, guys.